All right, people clearly want their big Chipotle burritos. The fast casual restaurant posted an 8.3% same-store sales increase for the third quarter last night. Joining us now to discuss is Chipotle CFO Jack Hartung. Jack, always good to see you. Definitely going to touch upon the quarter, but we're seeing the stock under a little bit of pressure here in the early going. Maybe some disappointment with sales in October, but they are up about 4 to 6%. You said on the call last night. Are you seeing any slowdown in those COVID-19 infection zones, where the ones that are rising?
No, we're not, Brian. What we're seeing, first of all, our stock ran up a lot since the middle of September. So not really surprised that there's some kind of a pullback going on right now. We're not really seeing a pullback. We're watching it very closely. We're worried, of course, that wave 2 might continue to worsen, and that might have an impact on our sales. But so far, so good. The one thing we talked about on our quarter is just that we're going against a really tough comparison. The 8.3% that we delivered in Q3 was against an 11% last year. And now we're going up against, say, better than 13 in the fourth quarter when we're going up against carne asada from last year. So I think maybe there might have been some expectation that we would jump way above the 13. Certainly, I think a mid-single digit, which is what we talked about, we're running in September and into October. On top of our 13, we're pretty proud of.
We got to talk about delivery, right? I mean, online orders absolutely exploding at Chipotle, but I guess the downside to that is costs for that delivery have been quite high, and it actually puts some pressure on margins. What are you going to do to help offset? Are we going to see higher delivery fees perhaps from Chipotle?
Yeah, our digital sales tripled during the quarter. So digital has been a big win for us. It was the fastest growing part of our channel before COVID, and it really has accelerated since then. But delivery does come with more costs. What we're experimenting with is passing on some higher menu prices just in our delivery channel. What we're trying to do with our customers is give them access the way they want to enjoy Chipotle. And so, of course, you can still come in the restaurant and get exactly what you want as you walk down the line. You can order ahead and pick up, which is a great channel for us, and it's growing fast as well. But if you want delivery, there's a higher cost to it. And so that's why we're experimenting with higher menu prices, so that if customers choose that premium, high convenience channel, we just want to make sure that that channel is able to cover most, if not all, of those costs. And so far, so good. We're charging higher prices, and our customers are still ordering the delivery in their channel.
I sensed this last quarter, but it seems to only have gained steam this quarter, Jack. What people are eating at Chipotle has changed because of the pandemic. More burritos and more steak. Walk us through that.
Yeah, the burritos, is really a function of the customers that are coming into the restaurant, Brian, which is about half of our customers. They're still eating at the same number of burritos versus bowls as they did before. So they haven't shifted from bowls. And bowls before the pandemic was about 70% of what we sell. Burritos is only 30%. That still is the relationship in the restaurant. Digital has always been more burritos than bowls. And what's happening is, with more people in the digital channel, the burrito mix overall is increasing. And I think it's a function of two things, Brian. We have a lot of new customers coming into our digital channel. And when they first come in, we think they think of Chipotle stands for burritos, and that's what they start with. Secondly, because a lot of the food is carry out, or delivery, the burrito travels really well. I have to tell you, since the pandemic, I've eaten a lot more burritos than I have bowls, because I know when that arrives, that package in that foil is going to be still piping hot. And so I think that's what's driving that. In terms of steak is actually, we're seeing more people move to steak both in store, and through digital. So that's not just a digital only. We do think part of that is we do have a lot of new customers coming to Chipotle, especially in the digital channel. But the other thing that's happening is customers recognize when they go to the grocery store that steak has gotten more expensive. This has happened like 4 or 5 years ago when steak prices were rising in the grocery store. We saw our steak incidence increase because I think customers see that our steak is a great value. So we think that's what's driving steak.
And I know, it used to be the tortillas were for free. I believe that you've made the decision now that people will have to pay extra for that. How difficult was that for you to make that decision?
Pretty easy, Alexis. The reason being is it used to be a separate, basically section in our app where we asked if you want a burrito, you push the button, you got a free burrito, or a free tortilla rather. When we give away that many free tortillas, it puts pressure on the rest of our ability to invest in higher quality food. We want to make sure we charge a fair price for our food so we can continue to buy high quality, wholesome, sustainably raised food. And that was frankly, making it a bit of a challenge. What's happening with customers is we think what they're doing is they're getting a bowl and a tortilla and they're getting 2 meals out of it. We're only charging 25 cents additional. So if you can get 2 meals, instead of paying $8, you're paying $8.25. They're getting 2 meals out of it. We still think that's a great value.
Taking away my menu hacks, Jack. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you about the on the labor front. I talked to so many retail executives, and they're making giant hiring pushes right now, and at higher wages. You look at Target, Walmart; they're now paying $15 an hour, starting entry point for their workers. What are you doing to keep your employees inside of Chipotle? Are you looking at any holiday season bonuses? Are you lifting wages? What are you doing?
Yeah, Brian, we've done a number of things. We continue to do a number of things. First of all, our average wages are in the 13.5% range. And so we're not paying anywhere near minimum wage. We're above minimum wage in every market that we're in. Secondly, we're doing things. Listen, the wages are important, but the other things our customers really value is like debt-free degrees, for example, which we've been expanding. We just added another college, historically, Black college, to the portfolio. And what we found is, most of our employees that tap into the debt-free degrees are our crew. When they do that, they're like many, many, many times over more likely to stay with Chipotle, and they're more likely to move into management roles. And so those are things that not only lead to better retention of our folks, they lead to them having a career path, which is good for them. And they lead to them being, important future leaders for us, which is good for us. As minimum wages increase, of course, we're going to have to follow that. And we always want to stay ahead of that. But we know it's more than just the wage that they're getting. We need to add other things as well. And the debt-free degrees, I think, is a great example, making sure that our employees have access to health insurance, including, access to mental health insurance, making sure their families have access to some of these benefits as well. Those are the things that we've been investing in and will continue to invest in the future.
And it is huge for sure. And Jack, at a time when a lot of restaurants are closing down, Chipotle actually added, I think it was over 40 stores, and some of them, more than half of that was those drive-throughs, the Chipotle lanes.
Right.
How are they doing, and what are plans for expansion in 2021? Because I understand you didn't give guidance for same-store sales, so I'm wondering, in terms of opening up new locations, what does that look like in the new year?
Yeah. So first of all, Chipotle Lane, we think that Chipotle Lane is the digital drive-through of the future. Okay. And so we're very, very excited about that. What we mean by that is the traditional drive-through, when you pull onto the lot, especially in today's world where so many people are going through the drive-through, you have to wait in a line of cars before you place your order. You have to wait once you place your order behind those same cars before you pay. You have to wait again before your food is delivered to you. With Chipotle Lane, you've already paid, or you've already ordered, you've already paid. So you've skipped those two wait lines altogether. And we agree on what time your food's going to be ready. So if we tell you 12:15, you pull up at 12:15 to one window, you pick up your food and you go. We think that is the digital drive-through of the future. So in terms of going forward, yes, more than half of the openings in Q3 were Chipotle Lane. Next year, it's going to be more than 70%. And we did, Alexis, increase the number of openings we potentially could open. And here's what I mean by that. Our pipeline could support 200 openings next year. It's been over 5 years since we've had more than 200 openings. The caveat is we don't know how the permitting and how the contractors are going to be able to support the ground break. So first, the permitting from the local cities because of COVID, and then the ground breaks. But if those go well, which so far, so good, we had interruptions back in April, we can open up as many as 200 restaurants next year. So we're very excited about the growth plans. We're very excited about Chipotle Lane. And if we get a little break from COVID, if this eases, we'll fully get the 200 restaurants next year.